Welcome to Locum 43. It's Wednesday morning here in the studio, and I am joined by Sheriff candidate Chris Hanna. And I'm Corey Rochelle, and we're just going to sit down and have a conversation today, Chris, and talk about the upcoming sheriff's race. And hopefully, people will get to learn a little more about you and what you've been doing for the last. How many years you been in state troopering?
Well, I've been a trooper for 24, and I had 9 years prior to that with the sheriff's office here. So 33.
So 33
I've been doing it a minute.
You've been doing it a minute.
Yeah.
So Chris and I are just going to sit down and have a conversation about, what his thoughts are about running for sheriff, ideas that he may have to improve what the sheriff does in Lawrence County. And Chris, to start off with, you and I have known each other for a long time and been friends for a long time and met in the world of probably sports and softball.
I would say you're correct.
Yeah. So, tell everybody to get started. Those of you, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the county that do know you, but I'm sure there's also a lot that don't.
Sure.
Give us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, about your family, how you got into law enforcement. Let's start there.
So I'm Chris Hanna, and I am running for sheriff. I've been married to Billy Joe was a Hill. Mm-hmm. Been married to her for 32 years. Have a daughter, Reagan. Got me 2 grandbabies, Mac Thomas and Mavi Claire Newton. Reagan married Adam Newton here from Lawrenceburg, so got a good addition to the family, and his family's a great addition to our family, and just blessed with the family life. And then on the law enforcement side, when I was in high school, I sold auto parts in Summertown.
Graduate of Summertown.
Yeah, graduate of Summertown High School. Yes, sir.
What year?
91.
1991.
91, yeah, it was good. Played baseball and basketball there. Actually, before we started, you and I was talking about how things have changed and the discipline aspect of just life. I had the opportunity to play for Coach McBee, and he demanded a lot.
Yep.
And I think I've taken some of those traits with me from high school. Now it's taken a little bit to apply them because of maturity and things like that. But no, I mean. That's a great experience.
Did you play baseball for Coach
Haddock?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Coach
Haddock's one of the most laid back people ever. Yeah. He'd throw bat in practice with a cigarette in his mouth.
That's exactly
and
right.
You're like, yes, it's the greatest thing ever.
That's exactly right.
And he'd go, hey, boys, bring the shotguns tomorrow. We got to get the pigeons out. The pigeons would be in the room. But, you can't do that now, of course. They'd frown upon that. But things have changed. And I hope we get to talk about that in just a little bit with some of the changes with the sheriff's department. But I was selling auto parts in Summertown. And Don Burdick, who worked for the sheriff's office, came in there and said the sheriff's office was starting an Explorer program. And I asked, and it was a branch of the Boy Scouts, the best I remember. So I got interested in that, and we would have meetings, and they would teach you a little bit about the sheriff's department. And the more I went, the more it interested me. So I did the Explorer thing, and then the sheriff's department has what they call a reserve program. Mm-hmm. So I got into the reserves, and then an opening at the jail came, and I started in the jail, and that was in 94, I believe. I started in the jail and worked a couple years in the jail, and Sheriff Dorney came aboard and put me on patrol. And I worked patrol with the Sheriff's Department for a little bit. And then they had what they call a US 64 grant. And it was you just worked Highway 64, drug traffic and things like that. And they put me on that. And then I did that for a little bit. Oh, I also taught DARE. Let's not forget that. I think that's important. I taught DARE also. Before I went to the Highway 64 grant. And then the Highway Patrol picked me up in 2002. I went to the academy, and my first duty assignment was Murray County. And then I went to DARE with the Highway Patrol. I got to teach DARE with the Highway Patrol. And then they did away with DARE. And then I got to do what they call special programs. And I would go do programs in communities. I would do schools and things like that, go do safety programs or just do classes. And then I would inspect school buses. So a lot of people don't know, but the Highway Patrol inspects every school bus in the state of Tennessee. And some of them get inspected twice because of the years of service just to make sure they're safe. So I did that. And then I got promoted to sergeant in that. And now I'm in Hickman County been there for about 4 years. So to say all that is throughout the career, it sounds like a lot. I've been blessed throughout my career. I've done some pretty cool things. Got to see some good things.
Yeah. So, in your time during the highway patrol, has there been a time where you've worked Lawrence County like full time?
No, the
So
whole
you've
the whole
always worked outside the
I
county?
have, and with the highway patrol, I'll be honest with you, the way that their job description is to change driving habits on the streets of Tennessee or the roads of Tennessee. I thought, man, I know a lot of people in Lawrence County. I don't want to come over here and write a bunch of people tickets that I know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
I don't blame you.
but I have and when I say this, it's not honorable or pleasurable, but if we have a bad wreck or fatality, they have to send a supervisor, and I have come over here for a couple of wrecks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, during your time at the while you've been a state trooper for a long time, what other than where you've been in dare and whatnot, has there been times where you've been in investigations or different things like that?
So yes, I mean I have done some pretty cool things with the patrol. We have what we call a strike team. It's a rapid response team. I'm a sergeant over that. What it entails is we go to the Capitol if there's civil unrest.
Like we had
Yeah,
a little
not too long ago.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
Early
Yes.
2020s.
Yes. Well, and when they were doing the redistricting, we had to go up there for that, and it was pretty heated.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's pretty heated. So we do that. If there's a natural disaster, they'll send us to that. Tornadoes, floods.
So when the hurricane went through East Tennessee, did you have to be involved
Yep.
in any of that?
I did not, but we had troopers over there.
Okay.
Like now, I don't know if a lot of people know this, we're sending troopers to Memphis for the Safe Task Force over there.
Okay.
And I have been over there. And let me say this, I'm not saying anything bad about Memphis,
Right.
but I will tell you that every day you wake up in Lawrence County, you need to be thankful
100%.
that we live where we live.
That's right.
Because people are still cordial here.
Yeah.
There's people cordial in Memphis,
Yeah.
but you go to certain areas, they're not cordial.
That's right.
And I think you can go all over Lawrence County and people be cordial to you.
Yeah.
So things change. But I just think those experiences, talking about the strike team, I saw somebody put a question on one of the, I don't remember if it was something they were talking about the debate or something. What are you going to do if we have an uprising or somebody getting protests or things like that? Well, if you think about it, we've had some stuff to happen where tensions are high, like right now. The deal on Hudson Road. Well, I'm trained in right control. How to deal with people like that. Yes. So if things like that happen, and a lot of people don't know this, but the No Kings Allowed, they had a couple of protests surrounding Lawrence County.
Really?
And I don't know that people that they knew that, but one of the good things about the Highway Patrol, me being there 24 years, I've made some pretty good connections with people that can give you information that will help you be successful. Like if the Lord blesses me and I become sheriff, they'll call me and say, hey Chris, might want to get prepared for this a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, when the George Floyd stuff was going on, was that 2020, 2021?
2021, I think.
Yeah. If you remember Shelbyville, they shut Shelbyville down because they were going to have a big protest downtown Shelbyville, and we had to participate with that. Yeah, so I think that a little bit of my knowledge there, and the assets that I can call and say, hey guys, this is what we got.
Yeah.
People help people. All you got to do is ask.
Yeah.
And that's just been the cool thing with being a trooper. You just meet a lot of people. And another thing that I do is I'm on the governor's dignitary team. So if Governor Lee now, who's the governor, if he comes to Lawrenceburg, there's a chance that I'm going to be with him being in security. I've got to work several of the Republican governor conferences in Nashville. I had Kristi Noem one year.
Really?
I had Ron DeSantis one year. And this past year, I had the South Dakota governor. I forget his name, but what a great guy. Great guy. So you get to do a lot of cool things and meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah, yeah. After being in law enforcement for 33 years, lifelong resident in Lawrence County, what stirred you to say, now's the time that I want to do something different and, possibly become sheriff of Lawrence County?
Yeah, I was at a Christmas breakfast. The Highway Patrol has a Christmas breakfast every year at First Baptist Church. Sheriff Dorning, for the year before he passed, he called me over the side. He calls me Hannah. When I worked for him, I was in trouble. He called me Hannah. But now when he was joking with me, it was Hannah. He said, "Hannah, come here." And I went over there, and he said, "How old are you?" And I told him how old I was, and he said, "It's time. We need a change." And he didn't go into why we need a change, but I respect that man more than people know.
Yeah.
And I'd been asked before, "Chris, when are you going to run for sheriff?" I'm like, "I don't know. I got it pretty good now.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Right.
I'm happy."
Right.
And I'm still happy with the Highway Patrol.
Right.
I don't want people to think I'm disgruntled. I want to leave because of this. I'm happy. I'm blessed to be where I'm at.
Right.
I work in a good area. I've got good people that I work with. But Sheriff Dornick said that, and I said, I'll think about it, Sheriff. And he looked at me, and he just looked at me. And people just kept coming. "When are you going to run? When are you going to run?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then one day somebody said, "Hey, Chris, it's time to run.
Yeah.
I think you ought to run." And it just hit me different. I went back to my car. I closed my eyes. I said, "Lord, I need your guidance. I need your wisdom. I need your direction.
Yeah.
Help me."
Yeah.
I said, "This is way bigger than Chris Hanna, and it's still bigger than Chris Hanna."
Yeah.
And it just, things started laying out, and I'm like, "Good Lord."
Yeah.
It's almost like, be careful what you ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And if your heart is pure in what you're asking. Now let me say this, Corey. The Lord didn't tell me I'd win.
Yeah.
The Lord said run.
That's right.
And let me say this, and I just hit on it just a little bit. If the Lord wants to be the sheriff, I'm going to be the sheriff.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
If he doesn't, guess what I'm going to be?
You will not be the sheriff.
I'm going to still be a state trooper.
That's
Guess what? It's not bad.
Yeah.
I win either way.
That's right.
And I want people to understand that I win either way.
Right.
But I think that I've got some, talking about my experiences and the things that I've done, I think I can bring some stuff to the table. And let me say this. And I think we've been blessed with this election because you haven't heard John, me, or Gary. You haven't heard anybody slinging mud.
That's right.
And I'm very thankful for that.
I agree with
because that. I think when you start doing that, it shows your true character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not what people.
Well, and I was just about to bring that up. John's been in here. I've talked to him, and I've extended, the offer to Gary, and he, for whatever reason, maybe he's busy working. I don't know. But I agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. I applaud all three of you guys for doing that.
Yep.
I think it says a lot about your character. And when we're in here talking today, I know you well enough to know that ain't going to happen today. No. And we're just going to talk about, and that was where the next thing I want to go to. And you were talking about you just seeing some things. So what in your mind do you bring, or what do you see that you would do differently than what you see being done today? Not that he's necessarily doing it wrong and you'll always do it right. We're not.
That's right.
We're not debating that. But what do you see from your law enforcement background in a county that you've grown up in, lived in, raised your kids in whole life, and your whole family still lives here just like mine does?
Yep.
What do you see that you want to focus on that will be different?
So, I mean, that's a great question and a great analogy leading up to it. We're vested. You and I are vested. And I'm going to say this. John Myers and Gary Mills can work some dope. Mm-hmm. I mean, you give credit where credit's due. They can work dope.
Hey folks, you'll never guess where I'm at today. That's right, I'm at my Quick Mart store. Starting off with a fresh cup of coffee, and guess what's next? The biscuit. That was quick and easy, and I'm ready to start my day. Head on over to your favorite Quick Mart store and start your day out right.
And we've been in it for a while. All three of us have been in law enforcement for a while. Well, guess what? Lawrence County's still having the same dope issue they were having when I worked here.
Right.
So I think that we try, not that you don't work dope, you're always going to have to work it. You're always going to have your investigators out there and your CIs and stuff.
Right.
But I think you go at it a different way. Why don't we start with our kids and try and do a preventive measure? Why don't we, just like you and I were talking just before we started this, we've got to think of some things for our kids to do other than iPads, cell phones, TV, and things like that. Yeah. We've got to find a way to put a team together that can put our heads together and just have something that they can do.
Yeah.
And going a little farther with that, I talked with Mr. Atkins. I want to do a summer program. And I want it to be for the kid that is right here, can go one way or the other, that maybe is having let's be real, family lives have changed in today's time.
Yes.
The discipline part.
And listen, when you said Mr. Atkins, and I'm commending you on that, because the people who first identify that are the school system.
That's right. That's right.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just want to make that point.
Yeah. So I went to Mr. Atkins and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to have that kid that is right there, and I want to put a program together where it's tough. You know, you and I coach softball. Mm-hmm. What's one of the things you coach in softball before you hit the field? The discipline.
Yes.
You have to have discipline.
Yeah.
Self-discipline.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the things that I see with our youth today that I think is huge. I really think that everybody wants to blame someone else instead of looking in the mirror and saying, maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, that's how I do things now. I supervise 7 people. I work with 7 people in Hickman County. And if things are not going wrong, before I say something to them, I'll look, have I not given them the tools they need to be successful on this?
Right.
Or where have I failed, if I failed?
Yeah.
But I went to Mr. Atkins and I said, this is a couple of things I would like to do. I would like to do that. And I would like to not only have character building, if they're struggling in education, I want to get some education stuff in there where maybe you don't have the big classroom and you can do a little more one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is what I would like to do. I would love to get with you and your staff. And if there's a teacher that just graduated college that may be fixing to go to Lawrence County High School, Summertown High School, Loretta High School, wherever, let them come teach these 2 weeks and let them learn classroom management. Get their feet wet a little bit before it's live, live game.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, that's a great idea. And he said, this is something else that I can do being the school director. He said, if they do that and they do it successfully, if they like half a credit or whatever, I can grant that. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, that's a win-win. Mm-hmm. That's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And let me say this. The SRO is a very, very, very important program.
Yes.
And when I say this, I don't want people to take it out of context, and I don't want the SROs to say, "Oh my gosh, if he gets sheriff, he's going to change it. He's going to change a lot of things." But I'm going to demand a lot out of them, and I'll tell you why. Man, they're day to day with our future. Mm-hmm. They are, and if you're gonna distinguish a child that may be needing to come see us in the summer, who better to do it than the SRO and those teachers?
I can vouch. My own kids in school, my grandkids in school. I can vouch for the impact that SRO.
Sure.
Because, I've heard my grandson talk about, he likes the SRO and whatnot, but, they have to provide a level of comfort to kids.
That's right.
They're obviously a first line of defense. They're there to do their job.
Yep.
They're there for, again, as much as school has changed, there's still some mischievous things that happen
that's
in
right.
school.
That's right.
They're there for that. But they're also there to maybe, be a little bit of a role model.
That's right.
For kids.
That's right.
That's right. There's kids that look up to them. Maybe it's a kid who wants to get in that line of work. Maybe kids struggle at home, and maybe they can confide in them a little bit.
Sure.
So that they wear a big hat.
So think about this. what's one of the things, not only with kids, but not here. We just talked about how lucky we are, but you go out, you watch the news. What's one of the things that you hear a lot about the public and law enforcement? They don't respect them.
That's right.
Well, this is our first line of that.
Yes.
Those guys and gals can squish that bug very easy and very quick.
Yeah.
But this is a good thing about it. Even though that SRO's there to be their friend, but when it comes time to do business, that child needs to understand, hey, this guy's fair.
Yeah.
You know, he did what he had to do, or he or she, he or she did exactly what they had to do. I made the mistake. But let me say this, and I'll take this on over to the jail. Just because someone makes a mistake don't mean they're a lesser person.
That's right.
It means they made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think even with our children and even with our inmates, mental health is real. Mental health is real.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be all this, or you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
If someone has a problem, we have to try to find a way to help them.
Yeah, I did back in May. I did a sit down with 3 ladies, 2 from our school system, and 1 who is basically a child psychologist type nurse practitioner. Works here at a local. Works here at One Stop for Brandy Brown and them. And I sit down and throughout that discussion, you know, they talked a lot and I know this has nothing to do with the sheriff race, but at the same time, it's a real issue, like you just said. And in mine and your day, you know, it's suck it up, move on.
That's right. That's right.
You know, the stigma has been broken, and the walls have been torn down about if you voice that you're struggling mentally, or, you know, whether it be self-confidence or whatever, all those things that entail in that, those walls have been knocked down.
That's right.
That it's okay to talk about.
That's right.
And that you're not odd, or there's not anything wrong with you if you are struggling.
That's right.
Because the fact of the matter is now that it's not, people are not afraid to admit that they do have those struggles.
That's right. So let's take that a step farther. I don't think we give treatment to our emergency personnel like we should. I don't. You know Stephen Ellis.
Yeah.
Stephen Ellis is with. It's a stress debriefing team. If there's a disaster or something, there's a team that will come and sit down and let you talk and get it off your chest. Think about all the things. I'm going to go with a couple different avenues here, or areas that I think is huge that get forgotten. And I think as the sheriff, nope, I can't dictate a lot, but I hope if I get in there, I hope I have a strong voice. And when I say that, I hope you understand where I'm going with it. Take the road deputy. They work a murder. They're working a murder right now. Well, guess what? They can be another doggone murder. Say you're in Loretta, say you got to go to Summertown, it's the same thing. That's 2 tragic events that's happened in one day. All right, let's go a little farther. You have your EMS. Who talks to them? Because they had to work on this person. All right, so you have EMS that may have worked a heart attack, a room full of family members tore all to pieces, and then you have that. See how it's adding up?
Yeah.
Let's go to somebody that a lot of people don't think about. Let's go to our dispatcher that has to be on that phone, and they're talking to the person that's calling in on that murder, and then they're talking to the deputies that's going to that murder. And when they get there, they check 1097. Guess what? And that dispatcher lets that person go.
Yeah.
Guess what they're thinking? I wonder what happened.
That's
I wonder
exactly
what's going. And that phone is still ringing.
Yeah. And it's another call.
It's another call.
Yeah. You know, we got, John and I on this, got to talking about this, and which I learned some stuff that I didn't know as far as what the sheriff's department was responsible for. He was talking about they have to do the mental health transport.
That's right.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I mean, he was giving me the numbers of how many mental health transports, which kind of led into a discussion about, you know, budget and whatnot. The state is kind of kicked in and they're covering the cost of all that kind of stuff. But we're just sticking to the side of mental health.
Sure.
it's a lot of stress and strain.
Oh.
Or as far as calls on the sheriff's department.
Most definitely.
For you guys to have to go out, having to deal with.
Yep.
You know, whether it be calls of somebody having a break, maybe a threat of suicide.
That's right.
Overdose, all those domestic, all those type things. And the forgotten people, like you just said,
Yep.
is the ones responding
Yep.
to it.
Yep.
So I think that's a great point.
Yeah,
You know,
and you can't forget the jail. I mean, look what the jailers face every day.
Yeah.
They're facing someone back there. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but there's people trying
I've
to.
never. All right, so I want to go there for a minute. I
Okay.
probably should ask.
No, you're good.
I probably should have asked the sheriff about this because, but for somebody who's never been in a jail environment, what's a jail environment like?
Stressful because you got people back there trying to manipulate the system, trying to get something over you. So think about this. So you have 4 shifts at the jail. And I use this analogy because I think it happens because it happens on patrol. It happens every.
And to be clear, Lawrence County has one jail.
That's right.
So it's not
That's
like
right. That's right.
You got Loretto
Yeah.
and
So every
whatever.
agency brings their person to the Lawrence County Jail.
Yes.
That's right. So you have 4 shifts. Shift A, B, C, and D. Say A and B does everything by policy. Everything's done good. But you got shift C and D that lets them slide because they don't want to deal with them, don't want to hear it. Well, the next thing you know, while shift A and B's working, because shift C and D has let them go, they're going to give them down the road. And then it becomes, to me, it becomes a safety issue. Because if you're lax, what have you let get in?
Mm-hmm.
Or what have you let them make? You know, when I worked at jail, I mean, it was they had TVs back there and they start getting rowdy and you'll be like, you know, calm it down back there. And the next thing you know, they get it rowdy, you slide your chair back and flick that breaker that said TV and cut their TVs off. It would fix theirself.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what they have now. And I don't know, I would be ignorant to say, this is what I do because I don't want people to think that I'd say I'm doing this and it'd be totally wrong. That's not fair. But I that's where I believe in the team concept. That's where you have to trust your jailers. That's where you have to trust your jail administrator and your supervisors. And let me say this. If I become sheriff, one of the first things I'm going to do is not the supervisors. I'm going to bring the road personnel in. I'm going to bring the jailers in, and I'm going to ask them, what can I do right now to help you succeed? What tools do you need to succeed in your job? Not saying that that's an issue now, but I need to know what they have, what they need.
Right.
Because I think when you get into things like that and there's things they need and they may not be getting it or their voice is not being heard, I think the only way you can be a successful department is have people to buy in. Just because I go in there and I'm the sheriff and I say we're going to do this, that don't mean it's going to be successful.
That's right.
Because you got to have other people on your team to make it happen. Look here, I'm just guiding the ship. Everybody else is rowing it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm a good captain, they're going to get what they need. And I'm going to tell you, a happy workplace is a successful workplace.
Home.
That's exactly right. Yes, like your wife. Just go. I'll say it. It's like if your wife's not happy, nobody's happy.
Right.
But no. I think that I think a key component of leadership. You don't have to be a supervisor to be a leader. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be someone authority to be a leader. Yeah. You can be the quiet person over there that does your stuff day to day, leading, not even saying a word, and somebody paying attention and they're saying how you do it and they do it. So I think that's a big thing. I think that you utilize everybody. Yeah. And when you start seeing fruits of the labor, I think everything expands. I think everything's better. I think the work environment's better. And I said this the other day, and I don't understand it. And I'm not, when I say this, I'm not saying anything wrong or anything's bad, but every time I see a sheriff's deputy, they look mad at the world.
Got primary care? Find your way to better health with primary care by One Stop Medical. With decades of combined experience, you'll find a one-on-one relationship just like the old days, but with the convenience and technology of today. When One Stop Medical does primary care, it's the best. Call today for an appointment and find your way to healthy living. Serving Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, and Hohenwald. Phone 931-244-8220. Primary care by One Stop Medical at its best.
And is it, have we failed to give them, are they having home problems? You know, are they having financial problems? Just because someone's having a bad day at work don't mean they're doing a terrible job at work.
That's right.
There's other significant things that affects that.
That's exactly right.
And I think I don't think you turn your back to that. I think hey, you all right?
Yeah.
And as a leader and a supervisor, you pay attention to, you see body changes.
Yeah.
You see mood changes, you see attitude changes. And you head it off before it becomes a problem. And if somebody's having a bad day, you'll never hear me say anything. Hey, go right through the country, roll your window down. If there's a gentleman out cutting hay, stop and talk to him. Just a general conversation, just being in the community with people, just a general conversation can help you more than you think it does.
That's right.
Other than work.
Yeah. Well, again, they're human beings.
That's right. That's
They're
exactly
not,
right.
They're not Superman.
That's right.
They get up in the mornings
That's
and
right.
they put their pants on like you and I do.
That's right.
Just so happen I come to Tennessee Valley Media
That's right.
and sell advertising and try to make the Exports Network and
Yep.
Tennessee Valley weather better every day.
Yep.
But everybody gets up and they have their own
That's right.
struggles every day. And it could be a sick parent.
That's right.
It could be a sibling that's going through
That's
something.
exactly
so
right.
you can't, in my opinion, it's not fair to judge whether it be law enforcement or any type co-worker or anything when they're going through issues.
That's right.
Because again, there's days I do.
That's
There's
right.
days you do.
No, yeah.
So some of us are better at compartmentalizing when we show up.
Yep.
That we can tuck it away or put it back somewhere and pick it up when we leave and deal with it later. Some of us aren't.
But you can only fake it for so long.
That's right.
And it's like, I mean, you hate to put it like this, but it's the truth. It's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And I think if you have an opportunity to help somebody, you help them.
Well, and the stress. Another Sheriff Myers, when he was in here, he made a statement that I'll be honest with you, I knew and understood about the job, but until he said it, I didn't really grasp it.
Sure.
But he was talking about the stress of the job.
Mm-hmm.
You've dealt with the stress of the job for 33 years. Yeah. But he made a statement talking about how you guys can be forced to make 20 snap decisions in a daytime. And some of them can cost you your freedom.
That's right.
Some of them you could go to jail for.
That's right.
If you don't make the right one in a moment.
That's right.
And whatnot. That's a lot of stress to carry.
Yep. So let's can we slide to training now?
Absolutely.
So I think if you're well trained, it helps make those split-second decisions. Think about it. I mean, there's some stuff proactive with law enforcement, traffic stops, but you're doing reactive stuff more than you're doing proactive.
Right.
If you train, I don't care what happens and you won't know it, you'll revert back to your training the way you trained. So we're going to take training very serious. Mental health training. All the deputies, some shape, form, or fashion, will be mental health trained. And I'll tell you, that's not just to help the public, that's to help us. We just talked about having problems. Well, if your brother's mental health trained or sister's mental health trained standing right there beside you, they can pick up on it.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you're trained, you're more confident in your job. I think you'll do the things that's expected that you will do. I think so Captain Sellers and myself had that. Well, Major Sellers, he was a captain when we did this. We had the opportunity to go around the district and talk to people, and it was with the George Floyd thing about building relationships in the communities and things like that. And everybody told us that they regard the Tennessee Highway Patrol as the number one most professional law enforcement agency in the state of Tennessee. And we asked them, why do you say that? First thing is their appearance. Most troopers are crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Shoes shine, uniforms, creases, hat. And then they were better trained. Now, this is my mind thinking about the sheriff. I'm a trooper. Why can't I bring that here? Crisp uniforms, well-trained officers. If you're well-trained and you do a good job, you'll gain more respect in your communities by going out there, because think about this. You're not only dealing, this is what a lot of people don't think. When you're out there and you're answering that call, you're not only dealing with the suspect, you got a victim. Mm-hmm. And that victim has families. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we forget about the victim and we don't offer them the assistance they need. You take somebody that goes through a traumatic event, whether robbery, shooting. Do you forget that person, or do you offer, hey, this is what we got? I'm friends with a lot of preachers. There's a lot of church organizations that would love to come and pray with you.
Yeah. And it don't always have to be crime.
That's right.
Let's say
that's right.
A terrible car accident.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Tragedy. Yeah. Just tragedy. You offer. I'm telling you that the highway patrol is the motto is servants, not lords. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Servants, not lords. How many times have you seen somebody put that badge on and they think, I'm this or that? Yeah. No, you're a servant. Mm-hmm. That person that you're mistreating, or that person that you're treating wrong, this person's still paying your salary. Yeah. You deal with them accordingly. Yeah. But you know what? We need to offer them a service. And I think sometimes we all forget that a little bit. And we need to be conscious of the people that we serve. I'm going to tell you, this is big to me. And when I was preparing for running, I went to the DA's office and I talked about prosecution of cases, and I talked about how that goes. And to be honest with you, I'm a little concerned with the prosecution of cases. You have some people that gets a subpoena and they won't appear in court. Well, I mean, you have to do that because you work hard to make the case. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't go to court to prosecute the case, it's a waste of manpower. It's manpower and time.
I would think for the law enforcement side, that would be a huge blow to morale.
Yes.
That you're out working and you're doing what you can to help and make positive change in the community, and whether it be drug cases or just criminal cases of any kind, that if you go out and do the work and then all of a sudden, whether maybe they are prosecuted, but maybe it's light.
That's right.
That seems like that would be a
sure.
huge blow to morale.
And that's what I would like. And I'm not saying it's like that, but I want to make that person have so much pride. If you lose a case, I want them to take it personal. Yeah. You know what that's going to do? It's going to make their next case stronger. Yeah. And I think you just use things like that as building blocks. Yeah. You challenge yourself every day. Law enforcement, you can't be complacent in being law enforcement. Number one, you'll be in a bad predicament and you'll get yourself hurt or killed. Yeah. And two, you fail the people that you serve if you get complacent. Yeah. I just think there's I mean, you've said it 2 or 3 times when Sheriff Myers was here. You learned a lot of things that, well, there's a lot of things that people don't know that happens. And I'll be honest with you. I want to be the most transparent person that if somebody comes to the sheriff's office, they got a question, I hope we can give them an answer. Right. There's certain times you can't, like if a case is going on or something. But if it's a general question, we'll find you an answer. Right. And I think that's building trust with the people you serve. I'm talking about, we talked about the SROs. Well, I want people to be in the communities more. I said this before. Think about this. How would you feel as a kid in school, and the parents, the only time that they see law enforcement is when they're taking one of their parents to jail? Yeah. A situation like that. Yeah. You know what we got to do? We got to be at these ball games, and we got to be at these functions. Yeah. We got to do this and that just to show them, hey, you said it perfect a while ago. We put our britches on just like anyone else. Yeah. It's a job. Mm-hmm. It's a high calling job. Yeah. It's a very prestigious job. But at the end of the day, Chris Hanna is a person like Corey Rochelle.
That's right.
And I say this, and you mentioned making mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. I want to be the first to tell you I'm going to make mistakes, but it won't be because I'm lazy. It won't be because I don't care. It's just because I'm human.
That's right.
Just because I'm human.
That's
And I'll go a little farther with that. And I said this at the debate, and I try and say it every time because I believe this. There's only been one perfect person to roam the earth, and they crucified him.
That's right. That's
So I'm not even going to try. I heard a preacher say this Sunday. He said he wants to find a perfect church, and he wants to go to it, but he can't stay long because it'll ruin the reputation of the perfect church.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
I thought
right.
that's a pretty good analogy
It is
right
a good
there.
analogy. All right, so let's talk about something that obviously you have to talk about as far as being sheriff. In that role comes one part of it that maybe you've had experience in it. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. You got to manage a big budget.
That's right. Yeah.
So you're responsible for your budget and all that falls underneath that. So let's talk about, it's an important topic. Lawrence County's growing.
Oh, no doubt.
It's
no
really
doubt.
growing. Our small county, our small town, it's growing. And growing obviously means there is more money coming in. But that also means there's more people out there that falls under the protection we need to provide. But how do you see you handling your budget, maybe using dollars differently than what they're being used now? I want to pose that question.
Sure.
And just overall, how are you going to run the department on looking at it from the financial side of things?
So I think, number one, you're spending Lawrence County's money.
Mm-hmm.
You have to spend it wisely. I think you sit down with your team. You prioritize everything. One of the questions in the debate is, if you had to cut part of the budget, what would it be? I said training. There's enough people around here that can train you to be self-sufficient. I think there's some of the things that you can take away from the Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol leases their vehicles. I want to check. I've talked to a couple of people about that. I think that potentially has to save big dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I want to utilize grants as much. There's grants out there. You just got to have someone smart enough to find them and write them.
Yeah.
And you utilize that as much as you can, but it's just like your home budget. You spend it wisely.
Yeah.
You make sure what you spend it on is necessary. To sit here and say I've been through the whole budget, I have not.
Right.
I have a friend that understands the budget. I have a friend that's going to, if I'm blessed, before I get in there, is going to go line for line, tell me what to look at. That's dealt with that. It works on the state level.
Right.
So I'll have a little bit of an understanding there. But no, you're right. And I think as long as you keep it in your mind that you're spending the people's money, you'll do it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to, once again, it goes back to, I think the sheriff has a lot of power. And I think if you keep your attitude in check and your ego in check, I think you do stuff as a team instead of as an individual.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want my decision to affect people wrong.
Yeah.
Because then that means I failed.
Right.
And I just think you put your team together and
Yeah.
here's a good thing. Tony Crouch is going to be my chief, and he's done budget stuff before. He understands the budget. So, I will have somebody in there that has dealt with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you just a successful leader surrounds himself with people better than they are.
100%. That's my motto.
That's exactly right. And for me, I hope that I learn something every day that I can use, not only at the sheriff's department, but use it in my life and my family life, you know.
So what about maybe some new assets, new things as far as that you might want to bring in that we maybe would be new, or even maybe they're currently doing, but make it expand on it to where, from the law enforcement side, helps you do your job a little better.
Yeah. I think
Hey, this is Phil Hooper. Get the look you want for your favorite school, church, or business with apparel from HD Ink Screen Printing in Leoma, Tennessee. Got a logo you need embroidered or screen printed? Let HD Ink give you the professional look that sets the bar in today's world. We do fundraisers and custom designed apparel and so much more. Call today, 931-201-2961, or come see us at our new shop located at 26 Ingram Road in Leoma. Remember, HD Ink for the look you want and the look you deserve.
I would like to get a LPR, license plate reader.
Okay.
And let me tell you what that does. It reads tags. It's not a flock camera. It's not anything. It's not
All right. We're gonna take a quick going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Again, some of these terms are new to me.
Yeah.
What's a flock camera?
It's a camera that when you go by it reads everything on your car, and then it puts it in a database. And people think it's infringing. It can be a good thing. But it also, if you got somebody that thinks they're getting they're violating their
Some type of civil liberty.
Their freedom.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you. I don't understand enough about a flock camera to sit here because I haven't studied it. The Highway Patrol don't deal with that. I do know that if you got a ticket camera, I'm not for it because in the state of Tennessee, before you can write a ticket, it's a misdemeanor. It has to happen in your presence. If it's on a camera, it didn't happen in your presence. But let me say this about the LPR. That's something that you can have a SRO, not a SRO, but a patrol deputy to ride through your schools, parking lots, and it reads a tag, comes up you're a sex offender, if you're wanted. I want to use it for productive things like that. I don't want to use it for, look, the last thing I want is someone to infringing on my rights.
Yeah.
I want my freedom. And I'm going to be honest with you. We don't have many freedoms anymore. Me and you're talking right now, when we get done, there's probably going to 10 things on our cell phones that tell us what we talked about.
Right.
So I'm not for that. I'm not for if the flock camera is violating your rights, I'm not for it.
But at the same time, okay, this is not necessarily an opinion talk, but I'm gonna give my opinion.
Sure.
As just an everyday citizen, if I'm out, going about life or whatnot, and they're obviously everywhere you go, there's criminal elements.
That's right.
As great a town as we live in the counties we live
Yep.
in, there's bad people living. They're out doing crime every day. One of the things if I see Sheriff Myers, I'll say, "Well, how's the crime business?" Because there's crime.
That's
every
right.
day.
That's right.
So my point of saying that is that as just an everyday citizen who wants, the protections that I feel like that we deserve.
Yep.
I want you to have every tool available to be able to catch a guy that's maybe on the loose or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So and that's another part that I know a flock camera do. If it reads it, it'll tell you when that car went through an intersection or something like that. So this is what I would offer. I said transparency a while ago, didn't I?
Yes.
If that's an issue that people really want to hear a professional answer on, and not somebody talking from the law enforcement standpoint or the citizen standpoint, you bring somebody in that understands flock cameras from that organization, and you have a town hall meeting, and you say, hey, be respectful. Ask what you need to ask. I want you to know what you need to know, and then you tackle it that way. Once again, that's we don't have many stop signs or stoplights in the county.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know that we have
technology. Listen.
Yep.
Technology is changing.
That's
every
right.
single day.
No, you're right.
I mean,
you're right.
It really is. They're coming up with new inventive ways to be able to, again, like you said. When we get done with this conversation, when we go sit down and we pull up anything on our phone, anything we talked about is going to be in some kind of a feed.
Oh, that's exactly right.
So it is what it is.
So tools.
Tools.
I think every patrol car needs a computer in it. Why do I think that? Because if a way I understand it now, if a deputy takes a report, they have to go to the office and do the report, which will be at the sheriff's office. I think if you have a computer in your car, You can write that report in your car, staying in the zones where you need to be staying, where you need to work. What we've got to do is get deputies in the county. We got to make sure that they're serving the people that we're supposed to be serving. And I'm not saying this is what I would make sure was happening. And it may be happening.
Right.
I'm not saying it's not, but you will be in the county. Store checks. We'll do store checks at night. What does that mean? That means the deputy's going to come by and shake your door, make sure your doors are locked, to make sure your stuff's protected.
Yeah.
I think that staying in, the computers are big. I'm big on body cams. There's three sides to every story, right? Your story, my story, and the truth. Mm-hmm. The camera's not going to lie. Yeah. And being in transparency, if something goes wrong, I will tackle that just as I do if something goes right. Yeah. Because you have to. Yeah. You can't hide behind it. You can't, because the worst thing for a volatile situation, the worst thing is quiet time, because people's drumming up their own story. And I think you just get it out there. I think that those two things are important. From what I understand, Sheriff Myers is getting the guys red dot sights for their pistols. That if they don't have that, that would be one of the things. And I want to make sure the equipment that they have, rifles and things like that, I want to make sure that they're good, in good working order. Yeah. Because at any given time, that's your lifeline. And you know, I just think, all right, what did I say I was going to do with them when they come in? Tell me what you need to succeed. Mm-hmm. I want to ask those people, what do you need? What can I give you? Hey, law enforcement likes toys. Yeah. And I'll tell you something else that I think that they need to succeed is dogs. They don't have dogs. They don't have any patrol dogs.
So like drug dogs.
Drug dogs.
That's what you're talking about.
And wait, let's go a step farther. This is what I would like to do. You know, the sheriff's office.
Didn't we used to have?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking over years, maybe there was, I do know now, and it makes sense because that's something I hadn't thought about. But, you know, like at the start of every school year, we have a contract.
Yep.
So, you know, that's something we have to pay for, to where pretty early on, they bring them through and they run through.
Actually, Sheriff Myers, before he becomes sheriff, was on one of those contract teams, and he'd run a dog through the schools. He was on that contract team. Yeah. But I think you can use a dog for several things. Let's go back to the service part of the sheriff's department. How many times do we turn on the news or your phone go off? We have a missing person with dementia all the time. So that's critical time. Yeah. You know, you got to make sure you find that person pretty quick for health reasons. Yeah. And you can have tracking dogs. I'll tell you what I'd like to do, and Giles County does it. I think it would be super. I think it would be great. I think we give our SRO a dog. And I'm not talking about a big German Shepherd. I'm talking about a lap dog or a little dog that wants to run around and let kids pet it. You take that kid that's having that bad day or something, you let that dog go up and pet it a little bit. It's a calming effect. Let's talk about dogs. I'm passionate about. I love dogs. I do too. And I'll tell you why I say that, Corey. They don't care if you're a man or a woman. They don't care what color you are. They know when you're having a bad day. Yeah. And they're going to give you unconditional love, and more than that, they're loyal. Yeah. Yeah. You think about that. If we learn that as humans, oh my God, you would need a sheriff's department.
That's right.
But no, the Giles County Sheriff's Department, and that's something I would have to talk with Mr. Atkins about. Yeah. But I think that could be a volatile tool.
Listen, it's funny you say that. Just me speaking personally. We've had a dog. Now we've had outside dogs. Amanda and I have had outside dogs ever since we've been married. But the last 2 years we have our first dog inside. Oh. Listen. I'm just speaking my truth. If you hurt my dog, it'd be like hurting one of my family. Yeah. I mean, because we've become that attached to her. Yep. You know, she's loving, like you said. All the things that you just said are true. Other than one thing I would say is that now she's a little partial to Amanda than she is.
Oh,
me, you know?
Okay, okay.
If I get home or something, walk over and give her a hug, give her a kiss or something, she'll kind of get at me, you know, or whatnot. But I agree 100%. Yep. Because I know in my own personal life, last 2-3 years, I've had, you know, some medical issues and whatnot. Yep. And it's just been, I mean, I can say, and there'll be a lot of people say, I can't believe you said that. But she's been a great addition for us at home.
Yes.
She really has.
Yes.
So
I mean, it's therapy within itself.
it is. I agree with
I
that.
mean, so you try and think of anything you can to succeed. And I think, talking about our kids, how do you get them to respect the sheriff's office, and you do little things like that. I tell you something else I want to do. I want that SRO at that school. I want to let them kids design a route for that car for that school, and every time it pulls up, it's the South Lawrence Stallion sheriff's car, or it's the Etheridge Bulldog patrol car. You have fun with these things, and you let people. I mean, I just think you just invest. I think we invest in our communities, and therapy for the dogs. I talked to a lady yesterday, and we got to talking about the shelter and a couple other things. And she said those inmates that come out there and work, you can tell that dog helps them get through their day. There's something to that.
Yeah.
There's something to that. So that's something that we'll be looking into for sure.
Effectiveness on you probably, I don't know if you see it since that's your job every day. I can imagine you wouldn't care even about watching it. But on Friday and Saturday nights on, I don't know what channel it's on, but I love to watch a show called On Patrol Live.
Oh yeah.
Now, I love it when the dog comes out, and I really like it when they send him after somebody and he's eating somebody's leg up. I love it. I think it's awesome. But the effectiveness of a dog in the field, finding drugs and that kind of stuff, I mean, are they as effective as it seems to be? Like somebody like me watch on TV.
So let's think about this. You have somebody gets mad and we have a protest at Save-A-Lot. They're raising Cain. You can have 15 officers across the line there holding their ground, and they'll come up close. You bring one barking dog and say, whether it'll bite you or not, if it's barking, they're not going to get close to it.
I agree.
It's like what happens when you hear
intimidating.
What happens when you hear a 12-gauge shotgun go? It's a different ball game.
Right.
That dog just getting out of the car is the same thing.
Yeah.
And it might be the best dog in the world. But I always said, and this is something in today's time, you have to look at liability. But I've always said, if I was going to be a canine handler, when I pulled up, everybody starts running to their car because they know I got the craziest dog in the world. and I'm telling you, let's talk about de-escalation. There's several things now that I think really help with de-escalation in a volatile situation. Number one, we have to teach the deputies how to do de-escalation, or let's not say to everybody. The highway, but we have to go through this training. You have to learn to talk to people, and even though our force continuum says it's 1 + 1, if you're encountering somebody that's arguing, and you're fixing to say, hey, you're going to jail. Well, if you're just arguing, well, you're still even with them. Well, you can go up one, whether it's pepper spray. So now we have tools like tasers. Mm-hmm. And then you have, I mean, even though going hands-on is you're still trained to do that, you don't want to do it because, and I'm not saying we won't, you have to do what you have to do to affect the arrest. And I'm not scared of this, but everybody, when you're doing something like that, you're going to be on camera more than yours. Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's important. You go back to training. Remember how I said that you will revert back to how you trained? Yeah. I think you train in that. I think you train in how to de-escalate. Most people, if you get a younger officer, I was guilty of it. I can say that, and most everybody that wears a uniform can say this. If you've got somebody here and they're agitated, and you go up here, well, they're fixing to come up, especially if they got a little alcohol in them or something like that. What we got to do is find a way to keep them here. Yeah. Find a way to talk to them and get their mind off being violent. Yeah. And hope that works. But if not, then you have to do your job. Then it's business. Right. And this is my philosophy on that. You can only do that for so long. You can only sit there and talk for so long. Then it becomes a safety issue. I believe in the 3-step method: ask, tell, show. Because the longer you sit there, if it's getting worse, it's not going to get any better, especially if you're doing everything you're doing professionally. Yeah.
Arctic Air keeps your home or business comfortable. For more than 20 years, we've provided outstanding residential and commercial services through southern Middle Tennessee. Whether you need assistance with your heat, air conditioning, preventive maintenance, or anything in between, trust our reliable team to get the job done. We'll take the time to figure out your specific needs and recommend what we believe is right and best for your situation.
We've been using Arctic Air for over 15 years now. Their service is great, they're here when we need them, and their prices are competitive. They take the worry out of the heat and air so I don't have to.
Arctic Air, when you need us, we'll be there.
But at the end of the day, if you have to do something and you have to take somebody to jail and you have to, effectively make a tough arrest, I want it to be within the guidelines of policy and procedure. And this is what some people don't understand. If you get sued, and from what I understand, there's probably going to be a lawsuit with the sheriff's office with some things that's happened years ago. You're going to get judged on 3 things: training, policy and procedure, and state law. If you're within those 3 things, and federal law, if you're within those 3 things, you're going to be okay. You're not, and this is the way I look at getting sued. If you get sued, guess what? That comes out of the taxpayer. That comes out of that budget that we were just talking about. Right. You got to make sure everybody does what they have to do not to be on the sue list. Yeah. And if you turn the TV on now, guess what? You're going to have 50 commercials saying, "Hey, call me if this happens," from attorneys. I mean, that's all. And
I think that ought to be against the law.
We're in a sue happy. Everybody wants something given to them.
I think that ought to be against the law.
Yeah, everybody just has something given to them. Yeah.
All right. So as we're winding down here, Lawrence County. Tell me the issues you see that we're facing. That you feel like if elected as sheriff, that you're going to be able to make an immediate impact to make a better quality of life for those in Lawrence County.
Okay. Number 1, you look at everything that affects citizens. I think you give them better quality when a sheriff's department's asked for services. You do that by training. You prepare your cases better. You make sure when you work a case, I don't care if it's a home burglary or whatever, you go give that person everything you got to make sure that they're taken care of. We have to be community oriented. I think that builds trust within the community to the department. I think if they see you out there and you ask them, "Hey, what's going on?" Think about this, Corey. If somebody gets their property broken into in 5 Points Road, you're going to go there and you're going to take the initial report, and then the investigator is going to take the report from the deputy and it's going to do a follow-up. Well, if you've only got 2 deputies or 2 investigators for the whole county, what's wrong with that deputy going back down there and doing a follow-up themselves? Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to tell you, if you have a good rapport with those communities, they'll have it solved for you because they're going to talk to each other and they're going to they'll get you in the right direction.
Right. Yeah.
It goes back to trust and respect.
Yeah.
And I think everybody can do better than that. I think this is something I hear this all the time, that they'll call the sheriff's department and no one will call them back, or they want to have a meeting and no one will have a meeting. I'll have an open door policy. I'm a people person. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't like typing on the computer. I don't like sending text messages. Yeah. If you got a problem or need some help, come see me. Yeah. I want you to look at me in the face. Yeah. We've gotten away from that. Yeah. People can be brave behind a keyboard. I want you to come look at me. And I told you a while ago, you have to deal with the bad and the good. If I'm not doing something that you like, I don't want you bashing me on the computer. I want you saying, "Hey, Chris, come on now. Would you please look at this and maybe change this if you can?" Yeah. I'm open to that. Yeah. I'm only as good as the people around me and the people that I serve. Mm-hmm. So I think I want the sheriff's department to be a personal department. This is what I want, though. I want people to understand they're going to wear a uniform. No ifs, ands, or buts. They'll be in a uniform. when they wear their tactical gear, I want people to know somebody's fixing to have a bad day. There's some skin in the game. Somebody's fixing to have a bad day.
Yeah.
And when you do that, I want them to read the newspaper, and I want them to say, hey, the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department, along with the Loretta Police Department, the Etheridge Police Department, the Lawrenceburg Police Department, you hear the group effort there?
Mm-hmm.
They did a team raid at such and such, and this is what they did. I think you have to put the team concept back in it. I don't know that everybody's working well in Lawrence County as a team. And one of the strong points, and I'll say this, is Major Sellers, when we had the debate and they said something about everybody working in natural disaster, he's always said that one of my strong points is being able to pull people together and making everybody a team. I think I'm good because I'm a people person. Mm-hmm. Looky here, if there's a tornado in Bonnertown, Chris Hanna he's not going to be in the command post. He's going to be out there moving brush so we can get emergency personnel. There'll be somebody from the sheriff's department in there, but that you don't have to be the sheriff and be in the command post giving orders. You have other people that you surround yourself with can do that. Right. I want to be out there, boots on the ground. That's just the way I'm wired. That's the way I do it when we do a strike team deployment. If we have to go to Nashville I'll go stand on the line with the guys. As a sheriff, I'm going to wear a uniform just like the guys. Yeah. I don't want to be different than them. I want to be one. I want to be that person just like that road deputy out there working the road. Yeah. I want to be that person. Yeah. I don't want them to, yes, you have to, sometimes you have to separate yourself. But I want to be that person that everybody looks at. Hey, he believes in me. Yeah. He's one of the team. Yeah. I want them like Coach McBee and your coaches that got on your rear end from day in and day out that expected the best out of you. If they said run through that wall, you wouldn't think twice about it. You'd run through the wall. That's right. And that's what I want. I want people to number one, I want them to take every call personal. What I don't mean attitude-wise. I mean put your best foot forward. Yeah. Give them the best that you can give them. Yeah. And when you start reaping the rewards of prosecution and you're saying, holy smokes, I can work a case. Yeah. I think you just get better work.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So in doing that, this is what I think. In order to have accountability, you have to have expectations. That starts with me. Plain and simple. Yeah. It starts with me.
You're at the top.
That's exactly right. If they fail, I fail. I've done something wrong. And you won't hear me blame somebody else for failure. Don't believe in that.
Goes back to the coaching theory.
That's right.
If we win, the players win.
That's right.
If we lose, it's the coach's fault.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because at the end of the day, you put the product on the field, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
And I think that with respect, I think if you get out there and do those things, I think Lawrence County will be stronger from a trust standpoint. And I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to be tough on crime. I won't, like you said, you can't make the judge's decision, but I want to work with the courts. If we keep getting repeat offenders, we got to do something different because what we're doing is not working. And is that stiffer penalties or something like that? I don't know. But I think if you put a good team together, and I've got a pretty good team that's going to be on my side. No, let me rephrase that. That's to me that's a leadership flaw when you say my deputies are this or that. No, it's our team. Mm-hmm. It's Lawrence County. I want Lawrence County to understand when a deputy shows up at your house. Number one, you can trust them. Number two, you know what you're going to get, and number three, we won't forget about you. Yeah. We just at the end of the day, doing what's right. And doing what's right's worth doing.
Yeah, that's my philosophy. Most people know what's right and
That's
how
right.
to do it.
That's right.
You just got to do it.
That's exactly right. And a lot of times, if you look at it, it's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Well, from living a normal everyday life, get up and go to work, get your kids to school, your grandkids, all that stuff. I want you to be tough on crime.
Yep.
We live in a great place.
Yep.
if you're not, guess what's going to happen? Especially as we continue to grow, everybody moving in here is not always, a person who's got the greatest interest. So, we can only stay a great community if, number one, we do have low crime.
That's right.
And all the aspects that surround crime.
Well, think about this, Corey. If a business is coming in here, one of the top things they look at is the crime rate.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, they're not going to come to a place where it's crime. Why would you?
Right.
So I just think that this is what I want, and it won't happen overnight. It'll take a little bit. But I want everybody in the surrounding counties to understand if you come to Lawrence County, they're going to treat you right, but they're not going to play with you when it's playtime.
Yeah.
Fair, efficient, and effective.
Yeah.
I think that's what you have to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. So as we're winding down, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make your plea to Lawrence Countyans about why you should be the sheriff, and then we'll wind this up.
Yeah, Lawrence County, I want to say this. You just heard Corey and I talk, and we've talked about a lot of things that affect Lawrence County every day, not just Monday, not just Friday. It affects every day. I'm a team person. I believe that you put yourself in a position to succeed with people around you. You've heard me say that over and over and over. I think that if we get in the communities and we get in our schools with our kids, I think that's a win-win for everybody, and we start building the process of success. And I think that we build the process of trust. And I think I just think that with my experience with the sheriff's department, with the first 9 years of the sheriff's department, I learned a lot through Sheriff Dorning, because Sheriff Dorning ran a tight ship. He ran it the right way. And then 24 years, all the things that I've done with the Highway Patrol has given me 33 years in a uniform. I've learned a lot from different people, how to do different things, different ways. And I think that I can apply those trainings and that knowledge to this department. But now let me say this. I don't want people to get this confused, because I've already heard that we don't want to run the sheriff's department like the Highway Patrol. You can't run the sheriff's department like the Highway Patrol, because it's two different job responsibilities. There's so much more difference in the sheriff's department and the Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol works the roads and keeps the roads safe for the most part. That's their bread and butter, is the highways. The sheriff's department mans the jail, warrant service, answers calls, school resource, the animal shelter. I mean, it does so many different things, and there's so many different avenues. You can't run it. But I tell you what I will bring from the Highway Patrol to the sheriff's department is discipline. I'm not going to be a dictator. I'm not going to be a micromanager. But the sheriff's deputies will have direction. They will have expectations, and they will have accountability. And some people say, well, if you get too tough, you may run them off. I don't want them there anyway. Let's be honest. I would rather have a short staff than someone there that's going to misrepresent the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department. No, let's go further than that. It's going to misrepresent the Lawrence County people. Then it's going to misrepresent the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department. I think if you have clear expectations and you hold them accountable, good and bad, you succeed. And I think that's what I bring to the table. I'm a people person. Just like I said, I want people to come and talk to me. I want people, and I'm going to go talk to them. Yesterday, I went to the Fall River Market down there. I've never laughed so much at a bunch of people in my life. Sometimes you have to go do that. It decompresses. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, running for the political office, people don't understand how hard it is. You got to try and be a family man. You got to work a full-time job, and then you got to politic. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. But you know what? The reward is so much better. Yeah. And I think there's things that I bring to the table that will make it succeed. I really do. Yeah.
Well, Chris, we appreciate your time and coming by and just sitting down and talking with us.
Most definitely.
Talking about all things on the plan and the road to becoming sheriff. And the biggest thing I want to say is, as we finish up and wind this up, get out and vote.
Yes.
We all see all the junk that we see on Facebook and all that mess. And to be honest with you, here's where I stand. Listen, if you're an American, you got the right to have your opinion.
Yep.
Now, Just because you got it right don't mean you ain't got a right to be wrong.
That's right.
But that's your opinion.
No, that's right.
So the way that you can affect your voice is by going and voting.
That's right. That's
so
right.
if you voice your opinion online, if you're against whatever the case may be, and you don't go vote, and my belief is you lost your right.
Yeah, you don't have a right to complain.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
So go vote.
Yes, please.
This year, I know there's probably, I would be willing to wager that Lawrence County will have more people turn out for an August election than probably ever in history.
I think you're right. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot.
There's a lot going on.
So get out and vote. Doesn't matter which way you believe, but get out and vote. And I want to end this. Be respectful.
Please.
These guys are normal human beings. I don't care if they're running for sheriff, if they're running for county executive, if they're running for mayor, if they're on a board they've been appointed to. They're just doing what they think is right. It doesn't always mean that what they think is right, you're going to think is right. But the way that we are becoming divided in this country, and even in this small county of Lawrence County and this small town of Lawrenceburg, what's happening is everybody is getting so, when things aren't going the way they see it, everybody is just basically turned to hate. And that's not the answer.
No.
The way to everybody to work together and affect change positively is to do it the right way. We just said that earlier. Most people know the right way to do things. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it is the easiest thing to do. But just do things the right way. Be respectful. Talk to people how you want to be talked to. And I think every day gets a little better.
Hey, and this is something else. No matter who wins, support them.
Right.
Whoever wins, support them.
That's right.
Because everybody has a tough job.
That's
Whether
right.
it's commissioner, school board member, there's tough decisions.
Yeah.
And no, you're not going to like every one of them.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'll say this, Corey, and I'll shut up. I'll tell you what you can do more than vote and criticize and Facebook post and this. This is something that will trump all of that. Say a prayer for them.
That's right.
Say a prayer for them.
That's exactly
I tell people all the time, they ask me, what can I do for you? I said, I'm all right. I said, we're doing good. I said, this is what I need you to do, though. Say a prayer for me.
Yeah.
So, hey, Lawrence County, I need your vote.
Yeah.
But I need your prayers more than I need your vote. And don't forget me, if I don't win, I still need your prayers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm still gonna be serving.
working.
I'm still
That's
gonna
right.
be serving.
That's
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more interviews coming with Local 43. Tomorrow we'll be doing an interview with David Morgan. He's going to be in here, his final time, and before the election. So stay tuned for that, and thank you, and we'll see you next time.
At McDonald's HVAC Heating and Cooling, ensuring your indoor comfort is a commitment we stand behind. From one family to another.
McDonald's HVAC provides residential and commercial customers with repair and maintenance services on a wide range of indoor comfort systems. An American Standard custom care dealer. The world's most efficient and durable comfort systems, competitively priced from people dedicated to your total satisfaction. For trustworthy service, value, and peace of mind, contact McDonald's HVAC today.